happiness, if you search for happiness, if you go after happiness directly, it'll burn you. You won't be able to get it. And that's the mistake we make. We go straight to happiness. And the best explanation I've heard up to now is looking straight into the sun. It'll hurt your eyes. Okay, that's happiness. Happiness is that powerful. It's like looking straight into the sun. But if we go indirectly and we look at what the sun does in the forest, on the water, we see these beautiful colors, we see these beautiful plants, we see this refraction of light that creates these most amazing palettes for us. That is the same with happiness. We have to go at it indirectly. Welcome to another Visser Podcast. Today's going to be an interesting one. We know what time of the year it is, right? So it made me reflect. So today we're going to have kind of a philosophical podcast based on the overarching ideas and what makes us healthy, what gives us longevity, what gives us wellness. So the overarching idea, which I've touched upon in different episodes, are based on, well, we can find them back in Nassim Taleb's Antifragility, Seneca's Stoics, and solving the paradox of happiness. So today we're going to deep dive into those three and also how that applies to our children and to the next generation. So welcome to another Visser Podcast. Subscribe, ring the bell notification, invite friends. This is going to be an interesting one. And we'll get back to the healthcare and the specifics and the nutrients and all that stuff. But today, let's discuss this because it's this time of year. So what is being anti-fragile? Okay, it's not like resilience. Okay, it's different. Resilience is this. Resilience is a force is put on an object. The object changes. And then once the force is lifted, the object returns to its original form. Like a sponge, kind of. You know, when you squeeze the sponge, you let it go. It comes back to its original form. That's resilience. And a lot of us have that, okay? But when we talk about anti-fragility, Nassim Taleb is the one that really coined this anti-fragility. We were all working with it. I've been working with it forever. We grow. I mean, you know, the best way to really explain this is simplest. Go into the gym, all right? Go into the gym. I want to train so hard that I actually induce changes in my muscle and I get muscle growth and strength and more strength. So I'm actually changing my physiology. I'm changing my structure as I work out. Now, this is the balance. I can go too far and break structures. I don't want that. I want to injure the structure so that when they heal, they come back bigger and stronger. So you need a healing period. So you cannot have chronic resistance or chronic pressure or chronic inflammation. Get where I'm going? It's bad. But acute inflammation is good. That's the body responding. All right? When you put acute stress on the body, that is not enough to break it, but enough to transform it, that's where we want to be. So this is anti-fragility in a nutshell. So when we look at fragile, robust, or the same, resilient, okay, it's in the middle, and anti-fragile, how do I explain the difference? Well, fragile, we know. That's someone or that is being unbendable. You have a plan, you stick to it. You don't like uncertainty. You don't like, disorder. You really get stressed in a bad way when things don't go your way. An example that I saw was someone that's in a traffic jam and it ruins their whole day. Fragile person, it ruins their whole day. Now, a robust person is someone that can say, I don't give a shit. All right? A robust person will just take that, be irritated and stressed, and just brush it off. Start breathing, do some breathing techniques, whatever. Say, okay, fuck, it's done, over, continue with his day. Someone that is anti-fragile will take that experience and start looking at creative solutions. Can I find a new way to avoid this traffic? What can I do with my time while I'm sitting in traffic, thinking about new projects, maybe listening to music, maybe observing stuff that can change me along the way? Why is this happening? Questioning, being curious. That is anti-fragile. So, as you can see, there's movement from fragile to robust to anti-fragile. Robust, there's a lot of people that are robust, but it doesn't help you. It doesn't grow. It doesn't help you grow. Robust is just being able to shut down those feelings, shut down and control the way you react to stuff. Doesn't help you grow. Anti-fragility, that's where you're growing. Okay, so that's why we need to know these differences. I think another concept that is interesting that has been brought up is that with fragile, education in higher doses is actually not that good. Because what happens is it kills creativity, it narrows your knowledge. And when we're looking at the top thinkers in the world like Einstein and all these guys left education. It hampers their creativity, it hampers them to move on to new things, new ideas. So these are anti-fragile. Entrepreneurship is anti-fragile. Optionality, an adventurer, that's anti-fragile. Someone that thrives when things don't go as planned. Someone that is looking at life and the magic of new things coming at you that you have to deal with, that you have to apply yourself to master, that whatever comes at you, and an anti-fragile person will thrive in this. Someone that's fragile will not. They will crumble. Someone that is robust will take it, won't like it, will take it, can deal with it, but doesn't grow from it. So those are the three differences. And the reason we wanna know this, and the reason it is so important, is because it's one of the clues that's gonna get us to happiness. There's 4 rules to becoming anti-fragile. 1, and I keep repeating this, do hard things. Go through life as a adventurer. Invite adventure, invite new things, invite things that weren't expected, and grow from that. Develop an anti-education, meaning explore yourself, go find it yourself, create new things. Adopt an anti-fragile life philosophy. And here is where we get into the Stoics, like Seneca. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Seneca. That's just one. I'm not going to go through his whole philosophy or through Marcus Aurelius' dreams or anything like that, but it's the principles. The Stoics go from fear to prudence, from pain to information, mistakes to initiation, and desires to undertaking. And that's the main difference. And it's really when we put all this together, we start touching upon how we work and being able to explain the paradox of happiness. Happiness, and the best way I've heard it explained was happiness, if you search for happiness, if you go after happiness directly, it'll burn you. You won't be able to get it. And that's the mistake we make. We go straight to happiness. And the best explanation I've heard up to now is looking straight into the sun. It'll hurt your eyes. Okay, that's happiness. Happiness is that powerful. It's like looking straight into the sun. But if we go indirectly and we look at what the sun does in the forest, on the water, we see these beautiful colors, we see these beautiful plants, we see this refraction of light that creates these most amazing palettes for us. That is the same with happiness. We have to go at it indirectly. And then we get the burst of colors. We get the burst of the feelings that we're looking for, everything that we're looking for. And it's a continuum. It's not something you get and you stay and you got it and now it's there. No, it's continuum. And within this happiness, there is hardship, because otherwise you can't get it. So there is hardship. There is hard times. There is, this suffering that you have to go through to get to it, to keep it in balance. So what are the keys to happiness? Spire. Okay. S stands for spiritual. Okay, this is the sense of purpose. Ikigai. Finding your purpose. Get to an ikigai. Start doing a couple of, just do it a couple of times. Try to figure out where your purpose lies. This is key. Next thing is physical well-being. So we have to take care of our body, and this is what we talk about. We have to physically take care of ourselves and the people we love. So this is, working out. This is eating healthy. This is really taking care of our vessel. Intellectual, the I. Okay? Intellectual is being curious, engaging with life, engaging with people. This is where we need to focus on. R is relationship and well-being, and that is our tribe. Having people around us that really support us, having people, choosing people to be around that reflect who we are or who we want to be, and that have our backs and that support us. Emotional well-being, the E, the last one. The biggest part of this is gratitude, living in gratitude and being grateful for what you have, for what you've accomplished, as small as it may be. And so these things that fall under Aspire, this is, the wordplay, are critical. And with that, we need to know that we need to do the hard things. We need to do the hard things. And I think one of the practices that you see, coming from the Stoics is, once or twice a year, take a couple of days and just go like what you fear for most is having no money and how that would kind of feel like. You're faking it, but do it so you can appreciate and be more attentive to what you do have. Go camping or something. Not glamping, but really camping and really do the minimum. Get lost. You need to do this to really ground yourself back into life, to feel it. Don't be afraid to fail. This is a huge one. When we look at, and I know one of the big things that we have is with our kids, their happiness, and also this is what also makes us happy. But here's where we often fail. Your kids need to be allowed to fail, to grow from it. If you're overprotecting them, this will lead to fragility. This will lead to them not being able to handle anything. They need to face the possibility of failure. They have to do this. Okay? So they need to fail often. They need to take on responsibility. You cannot keep bailing them out. These kids will end up being easily overwhelmed. Second, you need to protect them for irreversible risks. So at the same time, you need to protect them for irreversible risks. You need to know how far they can go and kind of what you let them risk to. They need to be able to recover from each failure. So that's your gauge. Can they recover from this failure? And how do we help them recover from the failure? They have to be able to recover. Third, they have to learn from their mistakes or failures. And they have to learn to thrive in stressful situations. This is, again, my analogy of bodybuilding or lifting weights comes in, where you create an environment that has risk, but you're mitigating the risk. And you're able to take your body to the limit and beyond, even with some safety net, someone spotting you, whatever. But by doing that, by pushing yourself to the uncomfortable, to doing hard things, you're actually creating growth in your muscles. You're becoming stronger. You're becoming physically superior to what you were before. So this is the idea that we have, and that works for every system we know. From our cells to our muscles, to our body, to our mind, to our spirit. And so we need to kind of take all these to the gym. We need to, get that stress in, get it out. We need to do this. And for our kids, this is critical for our kids. So in summary, what makes us anti-fragile? What makes our kids anti-fragile? 3 things. The possibility of failure. The protection from irreversible damage or harm of this failure. So it needs to be recoverable. It needs to be at that level. We need to have some protection. We need to know how far we go with that failure. The ability to learn from failure, from that failure. So the ability to learn. We need to then regroup and learn from it. And keep repeating this. This is key to becoming anti-fragile. And we need to teach our kids this. Our kids need to be able to experience this. We cannot raise kids in an aquarium and then expect them to swim in the ocean. Impossible. Thank you. Like I said, this was an offbeat episode, but I think it's important because it brings us back to the basics, back to the big idea on how we treat health, how we get people to heal, and what it takes. That takes everything: mind, body, spirit, everything. We're not just mechanics here. Fix or replace parts. We need to do the whole thing. So thank you. See you soon.